competitions, European competitions, the Champions League spot. That's the idea for Chelsea, what Chelsea want for this season. But Enzo Maresca keeps repeating how the mission from Chelsea owners, management, they gave him at the beginning of the season was not Champions League already this season, but in the next 2 years, so this and next season. But what I can tell you guys is that despite the recent results, and I understand the frustration I see on social media and everywhere from Chelsea fans in terms of results in the last few months, what we can say is that internally at Chelsea they remain convinced that Enzo Maresca is the right man for the job. So there is no danger, no problem, no issues. Obviously, Chelsea had many issues in terms of injuries. The January market was not easy. So in general, for Chelsea, is not the best moment, but for the long term, Chelsea remain very happy with Enzo Maresca, very happy with the approach he has with the players, the tactical approach, the mentality he's giving to the team. So obviously it's not the best moment, but in terms of long-term view, Chelsea are not changing their mind on Enzo Maresca. That's what I can tell you now in February. Then in football, we know how things can change everywhere, in any club, in any country, for any manager, in 5 minutes. But today, Chelsea absolutely see Enzo Maresca as the right manager for present and future. So they are building with Enzo Maresca, and they are already having meetings for the summer transfer window with Enzo Maresca. So he's 100% involved in the summer plan, preparing the signings, preparing the positions they want to cover and they have to cover in the summer. So Enzo Maresca is 100% involved, and also Chelsea are already planning for the summer window. Is going to be an important one. For the Blues, it's also going to be important, guys, to clarify what happens at Arsenal in terms of contracts, because we said about the injury of Kai Havertz, but they have some proper chance at Arsenal. And so first of all, congratulations to Arsenal, because producing and trusting young talents like Lewis Kelly and like Ethan Nwaneri is not easy at all. Premier League football, Champions League football, always be competitive, always be at the best level possible. A lot of pressure, a lot of criticism sometimes in modern football, but Arsenal are trusting their youngsters because of the injuries, of course, but not only. Even when players were available, Arteta was always giving a chance to these players. And now what we can say is that Arsenal is making progress on new contracts for Lewis Kelly and for Nwaneri. Nwaneri is doing great. Nwaneri is doing fantastic. This boy is incredible. Also Lewis Kelly. I can guarantee to you that Thomas Tuchel is following these two players for the future of England, especially Lewis Kelly. Maybe in March could be already involved in the squad for England national team. It's not guaranteed yet, but it's just an idea they are discussing internally, Thomas Tuchel and his coaching staff. What's important to say on Nwaneri is that the progress on new contract for him and for Lewis Kelly is very good in this moment. So the expectation is to get everything ready very soon
against Spurs as well. Let's talk about the Friday night football, shall we? Because we talk about pressure, and Brighton and the staff might have felt under some pressure after that 7-0 morning at the hands of Nottingham Forest, Mark. But what a way to respond. 3-0 against Chelsea. What do you make of their performance?
Well, they've definitely taken it out on Chelsea twice, haven't they? Beat them in the FA Cup last week as well. So you want to be a Chelsea player right now going to Brighton. Look, Brighton were great tonight. They've got one of those teams that they can be hot and cold. But, I mean, obviously, we've all seen Mitoma's goal, the fantastic touch that he took down and beat the man and then shot from 20 yards. Brighton on the day are a really good team that can beat anybody. And I think they've been inconsistent under Hertz this season, but they are a team that can damage teams. And I think, you know, they'll be fine. Their challenge is to try and get to the European places. But I think that the question tonight is what's happened to Chelsea. I think right now it looks like Enzo Maresca is having a bit of a difficult time. They've stopped winning away from home. And, you know, as we see at Chelsea, that their owners, they do expect a lot from their coaches. And I'm not saying that he's under pressure right now, but the pressure will begin to grow because they're out of the FA Cup. They're not in the Carabao Cup final. They're in the Conference League, which is the very lowest of targets that they would want to go for. And, you know, they're now in a battle, probably a three-way battle with Man City and Newcastle for Champions League football. So they're not in form right now. So I think Chelsea tonight are obviously the big losers in more ways than one. They lost on the pitch, but their momentum is suddenly stalled. And I think, you know, Brighton have done that in both competitions.
Yeah, the Mirror have pointed out in their headline, Blues not so bright. It was a missed opportunity, wasn't it, Martin, for Chelsea to put some space between them in fourth and City in fifth?
No, absolutely. And at the same time, Brighton closed the gap to Chelsea to 6 points. You know, there were some damning phrases from Jamie Carragher in court commentary. He said this has been a nothing performance from Chelsea. They've been bad at both ends of the pitch. He also said there's been no improvement on last season. And as Mark alluded to there, Chelsea are not frightened at all to change manager, unlike Tottenham at the minute. So I think that does put pressure on Enzo Maresca. So we'll see where we'll go from there. What was disheartening, if you were a Chelsea fan tonight, was Levi Colwill gets the most gentle tug on his arm, falls over, claims a free kick, sits almost as if he's huffing on the ground, and he's still the first player to get back to almost prevent the third goal, because there's that look of apathy about the Chelsea players. These days now, coaches continually talk about win your duels, win your duels. Every duel was won by the Brighton players tonight. It's a brilliant first goal by Matoma, and a brilliant assist from Verbruggen in the Brighton goal. But to be fair, he had to do something to keep himself warm, I think, because he had so little in terms of the game. What was it? One shot came anywhere near him. 2 months ago, like a few other people, I thought Chelsea were becoming a serious contender to fight for the title. So their demise is surprising and quick. They're dropping points. They've been beaten to Brighton twice now in the FA Cup and in the league. They've lost Ipswich, Man City, draws with Palace, Everton, and Maresca did look like a particularly stressed coach on the sideline tonight, and that's completely understandable.
Yep, and a big game coming up against Villa next up. Lots for Chelsea fans to look forward to, I think. We'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back. When we come back, we'll look at more of the sports stories in the morning papers, including this in the Mirror. Sorry, I saw red. Slot says he regrets sending off as he's charged by the FA and now faces a 2-game ban, and Arsenal could still win title.